LMD Magazine and EFM present Biz Talk, taking an in-depth look at today's biz landscape.
On today's edition of Biz Talk, we speak to Mr. Lahiru Pathmalal, CEO of Takas.lk. Can you give us a brief overview of Takas.lk?
Takas.lk is an online platform. It is the largest now in Sri Lanka in terms of pure play e-commerce, which means we don't have a storefront, as you saw when you walked in. Very much an office-related entity, and we essentially provide any kind of product right now from here, and we deliver across the island. So that's who we are.
What was the thought process behind coming up with the concept for Takas.lk?
In 2012, my co-founders and I, there is Dilendra Vimalasekara and Muthusa Musaji, were thinking around the same kind of a thing. Essentially, there was no storefront which is committed for Sri Lankans by Sri Lankans to buy online. Now, there were Groupon models at the time, which is essentially selling of vouchers, or you had to buy something online and go get it collected. So we wanted to develop a store. Taka started as an electronic store, and we are very strong on it, the strongest on that. So that's essentially how we started.
What are your thoughts on the market for this kind of business?
The market in terms of e-commerce is steadily growing, and it's going to grow exponentially, I think, in the next 3 to 5 years. So as we are looking at it right now, it's essentially like a scratch on this table in terms of what we've experienced. And if you look at the story of Takas, and I would imagine this is in relation to pretty much everything else in terms of e-commerce, we've seen an explosion growing into 200 to 300% year on year in terms of rev numbers.
How has the feedback been from your customers so far?
Feedback has been fantastic. Feedback sometimes can be negative as well, which will help us to improve our services to our end consumer. But generally, because we deliver across the island, it's been very good.
In terms of the industry, what are the improvements you'd like to see in the future?
Yeah, so in terms of the total industry, in terms of startups, I think government can do a lot more. It's very hard to borrow from banks at an early stage. There's no funding which is available for that. In terms of, they have to really essentially incentivize investors, because they're taking a lot of risk investing in startups. I think that's the core thing, because I know the government is broke and they can't do much. So at least incentivize people to invest into startups, because without that, we are not going to go far. And just that people remember this, startups in any mature industry like US, Europe add more jobs than any kind of traditional industry. So it's critical that they do those things.
And finally, where do you see Takas.lk in the next 3 to 5 years?
Takas is a disruptor. We do in-house technologies to assist deliveries and so on and so forth. So we are a market leader on it. I hope what will happen in the next few years that we will kind of solidify and grow and add value to our consumers. And I think doing so, we will hope to become the largest e-com player in Sri Lanka by 2020.
Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for more insights from our business community. You can also log on to EFM.lk and LMD.lk/LMDTV for a visual experience of Biz Talk.